Good morning, everyone. Hi, it's Wednesday. It's fish, meatless, or breakfast night. And I love fish, meatless, or breakfast night. There's so many people in the world that just eat fish. It's hard for us as Americans to understand that, but there's so many people. In Asia, they eat so much fish. In the Mediterranean, they eat lots of fish. In the East, in the Far East, they eat white fish, a lot of it. And in Portugal, they eat so much fish. Well, they do throughout Europe. But in America, we are kind of afraid of fish. And I'm not sure why, but it might have something to do with so much of our country being away from the ocean. You know, we have the ocean on all sides, but yet so much of the country is not. And so we don't have access to fresh fish a lot. So it has to be flown in, and they say it's fresh, which we hope it is, but maybe, I'm not sure why, but we just don't make fish an everyday thing, or even once a week. Or some people, I even have people writing me now that are trying to eat it twice a week. The Food Nanny plan says to eat fish 1 to 2 times a week if you can. And tuna fish casserole counts. Anyway, why do we eat fish? So how are we doing? Are we getting some people coming on?
Everyone's saying hello. They're waving. Hi.
Great. Hi, everybody. It's really fun to be back in the kitchen. Lizzie and I, Lizzie has taken a little bit of a break. I've been cooking the meals while she's been gone and showing them to you the last few nights. And before we get back to fish, I'll talk for a minute about what's sort of been going on. On Sunday, we had our crock pot chicken soup, and I hope a lot of you were able to try that. That's super good. And then on Monday, we did our shepherd's pie, which is a labor of love. That shepherd's pie is amazingly good, but it's a labor of love. A little bit. Takes a few minutes, you know, a pan for the potatoes and a pan to cook the chicken and the veggies. And anyway, it's a little bit of a labor of love, but so worth it. And then last night, I saw someone posted their bruschetta. That meal I could eat every day. And I'm actually going to show you that in a live soon, because I want you to see how that is done. But today is May 2nd, and it's for a lot of you out there in the country, in our country, it might be a little bit warmer than it is here. It's kind of a dreary day, sort of a candle day for me, because we woke up and it's just dreary. It reminded me of my painting in the Netherlands, because that's how it is over there. It's so overcast. And I know it can be that way in California as well along the beaches. But it's just one of those overcast days that you just want to get into the kitchen. And there's something about getting into the kitchen and working with these beautiful vegetables, delicious ingredients, quality ingredients, so important. But there's something about working with it that can put a person, if they're kind of down or haven't had the best week, it can change you. Cooking can be so creative, and it can just change you. You can just get into the kitchen and create a meal that will make you so happy. And it just warms your soul. So I'm going to teach you a meal today. It's actually in our second book. It's tilapia and asparagus gift wraps. So it's in our second book. We'll talk about what the sides are. So this is the front of our second book, and it has so many great dinners in there. Most of them 30 minutes or less. Our first book is more of oldies but goodies recipes that goes way back. I've been cooking for 47 years for my family. And so as the kids started to grow, these recipes go way back and they're very tried and true. But the second book is more of our new recipes. And this recipe in particular makes me so happy to cook. Let's go over to the oven and take it out first of all so you can see what it is that we're going to get out. It's our tilapia gift wrap, and it's been in the oven for a little while, and we'll see how it looks. Let's take it out and move it over here, and I'm going to open it up in front of you. First, I'll get the oven closed. This is going to be hot, but these are our tilapia and asparagus gift wraps. This is a meal, if you know your family or your company loves fish, then you dare fix this for your family or for your company. But if you don't know if they like fish, don't do it. Make sure either that or have a pasta possibly on the side. But it makes the most beautiful presentation.
Someone says my daughter will only eat about 3 things.
And what is it? What are the 3 things that she will eat? So this has been in the oven for, well, now it's been in there about 20 minutes now. This normally would take you in parchment paper for some fish that's about 1 inch thick, about 15 minutes. But depending on the thickness of the fish and how well done you like it, you can experiment. But let's open the gift wrap. Ooh, this is hot, so I have to be careful. So what I'll do is I'll bring my...
Someone says they had tilapia in the freezer and they haven't used it yet, so they're going to try this with the asparagus.
Oh, you won't be disappointed. And I actually have a few tilapia recipes in our 2 books. One of them, as you know, we make tilapia in our fish tacos, but you can use salmon, you can use cod. Some of the white fishes that we love to eat, some of the white fish that we love to eat are cod. Tilapia is actually one of the most popular. There's snapper, there's grouper. What are some of the other white fish? Haddock is another one. Some of you might name one of your favorites. But I had a question from one of our followers about tilapia not too long ago. And I'll talk about it for a second while we let this cool off for just a minute. She was concerned about tilapia. She had done a lot of reading on the internet, and different friends had told her that, oh, we're supposed to stay away from tilapia. But I did a little bit of research, and I know why she came up with the opinion that she did. I understand it, but I believe it's still a really good fish, and this is the reason why. Tilapia happens to be one of the oldest fish. It goes way back, thousands of years, truly. It's been around. But it's not available now everywhere in the ocean. So what they've done is they've started farming it. And a lot of people are against farming fish. Now, one of the best fish and my favorite fish in the world happens to be trout. And I love white trout especially, but the farmed trout, they say, is actually better than the lake trout. So I know that some people have a problem with farmed fish, but actually there shouldn't really be a problem with it. It's very healthy, it's very well taken care of, but there is a debate on it. And there seems to be a debate with tilapia because it is farmed. But it's a very old fish, but happens to be farmed. So let's see.
The lady said her daughter will only eat hamburgers, pizza, bread, fries. She said she needs you.
Hamburgers,
she needs help.
Hamburgers.
And ketchup only on the hamburger.
Oh my goodness. Okay, my sons only ate ketchup only on their hamburgers for a long time. And then they started liking mayonnaise. I have one son that still doesn't like mayonnaise, but that's okay. He eats all the vegetables.
And that's my husband.
Yes, and tries everything else. So I have 2 sons that don't like mayonnaise. But I have one son that can't get enough of all of that. But what you need to do is just keep experimenting with different foods, because it's the variety of food. And once your daughter sees you and your husband or who's ever in the home eating the food, then eventually she will start trying it. Don't you remember when your mom and dad used to eat certain foods and you would turn your nose up to it? Oh, I never want to eat that. And you find yourself eating it later on. That's exactly what's going to happen with her. And my rule is they need to take a taste, just a taste of what's on the table. They don't have to eat it. They don't have to eat everything on their plate. They need to dish their own plate up, take a little bit of food, and then have more food if they're hungry. But our stomachs are always much bigger than what we can really eat, especially when we're hungry. So if our children learn to fill their plate by themselves from the get-go, then they understand that before they know it, they're too full. But just give your daughter a variety of food. That's what we need to do. So let's take this packet out now, and we have to be careful.
And they say, thanks for talking about the tilapia, because they didn't know this, and they say they want to eat tilapia, but sometimes it's a little scary.
Oh.
Some people don't want to eat it.
Right. But I did quite a bit of research on it and have for years. And it's really, it's still almost number one in white fish. And one of the reasons is cost and taste, because the taste is so mild. It's a perfect place to start your family out on fish. So now let's open our tilapia asparagus gift wraps. So you saw that it was sitting there for a minute. And so a lot of the steam has already escaped. But here comes the rest of the steam. I think this is a beautiful presentation, actually. And so we have our lemons and we have our asparagus. It's a little overcooked, but we'll slide it right off, just like this, onto the plate. That looks so good. The sauce is just a little bit of butter and olive oil. And you'll see me put this together. But this looks delicious to me. It's a little overcooked because you can see that the asparagus is not very green anymore. We have asparagus in there. Let me check the tilapia. A lot of you have asked about my silverware, and I wanted to tell you that I got this in Thailand, in Bangkok. And it's the best, the most memorable silverware I've ever used. Every time I eat with it, which is every day, I think of Bangkok and where I bought it. I love it. It's a mix of Asian and French. That's what the pattern is. It's a mix of Asian and French, and I love it. I love Asia, I love Bangkok, and I love France. So let's take a little taste and see where we're at with this. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so delicious. The lemon, it's perfect.
You say looks so good.
It's perfect. The lemon, the sauce. Now what I say to serve with this is our quinoa and rice mixed together. It's actually on page 218. I think it's 218 in the second book.
Can you use pollock with the recipe instead of tilapia?
Yes.
Did I say that right?
Delicious. Yes. Delicious. Okay, we're going to move it right over here. And now we're going to put it together. We talked a little bit about fish. We've talked about a little bit about how important it is to introduce your family to fish, because fish is brain food, and that says it all for me. It's brain food. When I was over in China, I met a beautiful family, and a certain part of China, they were fishing at the time, bringing in new kinds of fish come up all over the world. if I didn't realize that until I actually went to China. But they found a new school of fish. They were fishing it down in a certain area. And it seemed like most of the young kids were getting better grades down in this part of China. So this family that I met wanted to move to this area of China. It's very expensive to up and move to a different area, as it is anywhere in the world. But they were so anxious to get there because it seemed that the grades and the test scores were coming out higher because they were claiming that the kids were eating this certain fish that was upping their test scores. Now, whether or not that's true or not, you wouldn't be able to tell these people that it wasn't true. They definitely believe it, that's for sure. But what I do know, all of the vitamins, everything that is involved in fish boils down to just brain food for me, after learning about it and studying about it for so long. So we need to introduce our family to it. If you just can't do it and you just don't like it, then we need to eat meatless. And we talk about that as well. We have talked about that and we'll continue to talk about that. So, how about tilapia and where did I buy it? I just happened by the store last night and I I didn't meet, but while I was in the store, I saw one of my biggest followers, one of my biggest fans. Hi, and if you're watching today, she was so beautiful and had the biggest smile. I was actually out and about yesterday and saw a few people in different areas. So hi to everyone. We just love all of our followers. So thank you. So I just was at the Smith's Market. That's all I had time for yesterday to get some fresh fish. So to feed 4 people, I only spent $5.14 on tilapia. That's a deal. That's a deal for a healthy, delicious meal. Now we're going to add more to it, but even with what we're adding to it, the cost for 4 people is not going to add up to very much when you count all of the nutritional value that you're going to get. So let's open it up. When you open up your package of fish, if you're just blown away by the smell, then you know that your fish probably isn't that fresh. So you need to either take it back and I'm not sure some of the packaging fell on that. I'm not sure, and ask if it's fresh or not, because when you open that package, you don't want a horrible smell to just come straight at you. We want it to smell good. We want it to smell good, not too strong, okay? So now I'm going to put this over here. I'm actually going to use I love this tool. It's for fish. It's a fish spatula. And if you don't have one, it's so great. It's so great when you're pan frying, sauteing fish to use this. It just gets in there and gets it folded over so nicely. Or if you're making maybe the fish tacos and you're trying to dice it up a little bit, this is the perfect tool. Everyone needs this when you're working with fish. I got this at Sur La Table. So,
where's your favorite place to buy fish?
My favorite place, well, I actually buy it everywhere. There are some fish places that are near me in Salt Lake City, Utah, but I usually don't have time to go there. So I just make sure I'm either at Whole Foods or I'm buying at Trader Joe's. I check out what they have, either frozen or fresh. Whole Foods has beautiful fresh fish. We have a place called Market Street Grill. I have been there a few times, but I don't go there very often. I check my Smith's, my local stores, Dan's, Harmon's. All of those kinds of stores have beautiful fish.
Do you prefer fresh or frozen?
I prefer fresh, but I do have frozen, especially tilapia in the fridge in the freezer for my fish tacos. And other than that, I do prefer to buy fresh salmon at Costco. I didn't mention Costco. I love Costco's fish. And Costco wasn't around for a long time when I was raising my family in the beginning, and fish was a lot more expensive. But now Costco is around, and they have seemed to been able to bring the price down for all of us, which I'm so grateful. I get my salmon at Costco, and I've never had a problem with it being bad in any way, shape, or form. I think they flash freeze it, and I think when Costco puts that salmon out, it's been frozen already once, but I have brought it home and frozen it again. I actually cut it up into pieces that I know that I'll be using, and then I wrap it really good, and then I put it in the freezer. But yes, of course, Costco. But all of these places, I'm buying fish. It depends on where I am in the day, what's going on, and what's available for me then. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of where to buy it. Now, what we do to make these tilapia and asparagus gift wraps is I wrote the recipe so that it was simple for you to understand. I said get out a 9x13 dish and use either aluminum foil or parchment paper. And I already showed you the one with parchment paper. But now I'm going to show you the one with aluminum foil because a lot of you don't have parchment paper on hand, and that's okay. So I wrote the recipe for both. So what we want to do is take about as much or as long as a 9x13 or a little bit extra and measure off to, because we want to double it. When you're using foil, it's going to take you about 10 to 15 minutes longer to cook. The parchment paper cooks quicker, but that's okay. I'm sure you'll have the time.
Someone asked, if you freeze the fish from Costco, how come you don't just buy the frozen fish at Costco?
Well, I know, and but I do buy the frozen tilapia. But for some reason, the salmon, I prefer the fresh salmon at Costco over the frozen salmon at Costco. I can pick my amounts better. I can cut it the way I want it, and that's basically why. But I know a lot of people love the frozen salmon at Costco. So that's a good question. But I use it all too. But that's my go-to on salmon is the fresh. And then if I'm not using it fresh on the grill or fresh, sauteing it or in the oven, then I'm cutting it up and freezing it. But mostly I try to use it fresh when I do buy it at Costco.
Someone wants to know where you got your glass container, your flowers in.
Oh, these, to tell you the truth, my very first glass containers were bought from Williams-Sonoma over 30 years ago. Now you can buy them at Walmart. And lots of stores have them. I have many of these down in my food storage. I keep chocolate in them, my chocolate chips, other chocolate. I fill them with everything. Rice, oats, everything. I use them a lot. As I also use some tighter fitting storage. They're big plastic jars. Buckets, I should say. I use those as well. But I use a ton of these. So, and you can get them anywhere. And they're so perfect. They just call you to cook. They've called me my whole life to cook. And that's why I've never changed them. So, we have our 2 pieces of aluminum foil now. And the recipe tells you how to do this for 4. So, if you wanted to put all of the tilapia down for 4, which would be this piece, this one, and the other one that I just cooked. I wanted to show you how to do it individually, okay? And I love it individually, but it's fun to do it all as well. So now we'll do all of these together, but you can do it individually, like I just said, like I just showed you, okay? So we'll put this one. Well, first we're going to take a little bit of olive oil. Yeah, go ahead, Kim, go ahead and move whatever you need. First, we're going to put a little bit of olive oil down, okay? And then we'll put our fish down like that. Okay, so I didn't even have to touch it. I didn't even have to touch it. Now my hands are clean. Now I'm going to put our To Die For French salt on top. This one has already been dressed. And some pepper. Okay. Now I want to make sure I want to do this exactly right. Now I'm going to lay. You know what? I started thinking ahead of myself, and I forgot to lay down. So now I'm going to have to touch the fish. That's okay. I got a little bit ahead of myself. Forgot about the arugula. Now we can use arugula or spinach. Of course, for me, whenever there's a choice, I'm using arugula. Okay?
Does seasoned olive oil work for this?
What kind of seasoned olive oil? Seasoned with lemon, seasoned with garlic, seasoned with basil? Sure, that would be fine. So we're going to lay the fish on top like this. Now, we'll come over and we'll get some shallot. Now, these are shallots. They're smaller than onions. They're almost like a small purple onion. They're super flavorful. And we'll just get a few pieces of shallot. We'll cut it as thin as we can get it. And we'll just scatter some of these pieces around like this. Okay, then we have our asparagus. And what I like to do, this has already been washed, and I just like to sort of bend it, and it will break just like that. And then we'll cut these up a little. So sort of it naturally breaks, okay, right about where you need it to. It just naturally does that. And that's the way I like to do asparagus, because so much of the bottom is chewy and too stringy. So then we'll bring our asparagus over and we'll just make some cuts. And if you don't want to cut it like that, you may also, we want to get as thin of asparagus as we can. So we'll find the more baby pieces. So you can chop it. That's how I wrote the recipe. You don't have to. If you prefer, you can just lay it on like that. But the thinner ones are the more tender. So we try to use the more tender. Okay, so this one is going to feed a few more people. So we'll need at least 6. So that's about 6. Okay, just like that. Now we're going to add, we had some melted butter, but it's not melted anymore. So I'll just mix it up a little bit with a spoon. And I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil to it. And then I'll just mix it around. So we have 2 teaspoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And we'll just pour this on top.
Will you say what you're making again real quick?
This is the Talapia asparagus gift wraps. And this makes such a beautiful presentation and such a delicious meal. It's in book 2 and it's on page 81. We'll add some more of our delicious salt that makes everything the best taste, and more pepper. I think we have everything on there. Now, we're just going to bring our double-sided foil over the top, just like that. And we want to seal it really well so that no steam can escape. And we're going to wrap it like we were wrapping a present. It's actually a little bit easier to wrap with the foil, but it's not hard with the parchment paper. And then we'll just turn it over or lay it exactly like this. Either way is fine, but just put it exactly like this in your 9x13.
Oh, someone's asking lemon slices?
Oh, yeah, that's what I left off. Okay, I knew there was something I left off. Thank you, honey.
And how long does fresh fish last in the fridge? A day?
I'm so happy somebody read that.
Said your battery's going low.
Uh-oh, it is? Okay, so we're about to finish. And you're right. I forgot the lemon slices. My mind's been on so many different things this morning. And so the lemon slices, and then again. So thank you. Thank you for reminding me that. And then we'll put it in here exactly like that, and then we'll bake it. So we're good. We're good to bake. Go straight into the oven. And then I was telling you what you need to serve with it. I want you to know that I'm so excited. We came back with our load of salt from France. These are going to be on our website by the end of the week, as well as our aprons will be up by the end of the week. We're so excited to have this on our website now. So if you can't find the salt, and if you're out of it, we'll be selling it on our website. We're getting closer with some of our other items too. So are there any questions about what we just did?
They say, thank you. This is great motivation to try a new dish.
Oh, I'm so glad. So everybody take care and have the best day. And just remember that your family is worth it. Cook for your family and for yourself. Just make yourself a delicious meal and get in the kitchen and work with these delicious ingredients and vegetables. It's just gonna make your day. Okay, everybody, we'll see you soon. Lizzie will be here tomorrow, and we'll be doing a live on Friday. That's gonna be a surprise. And so join me around 2 o'clock on Friday for a live with one of our fellow followers. And then Lizzie will be here tomorrow. So everybody have a great week.